So imagine a multi-million-dollar tech company just moving into your backyard without, ever really telling you what they're building.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, down in Webster County, Missouri, on Rifle Range Road, that is exactly what's happening right now. I mean, the concrete is already drying.
Right. So welcome to our exploration into the source material today. We are looking at Lumon Solutions and this new data center project. It's basically a masterclass in how a company can move incredibly fast by just finding the path of least resistance.
Totally. We've been looking over utility records and local governance documents, plus some really telling drone footage to figure out how this quiet rural area just suddenly became the front line of the AI boom.
I mean, it really felt like it happened overnight. So let's talk about the strategy here, because this isn't just a local dispute.
No, not at all. It's a textbook case of regulatory arbitrage. Lumon Solutions, which, by the way, didn't even exist until late 2025, specifically picked this spot because Webster County has no planning or zoning board.
Which is wild. Like, for a tech company, finding a place with zero zoning is basically like finding a software system with no firewall.
Exactly. It lets them just bypass all those public review processes, the environmental impact studies, the town halls that normally slow down industrial builds.
But wait, if the county just chose not to have zoning, is it really fair to call it a loophole? I mean, isn't the county essentially just leaving their front door unlocked?
Well, yeah, you could argue that if a company buys the land, they should be able to build on it. But the complication here is what Lumon is actually pitching to the community.
Right, they're calling it a low-impact site. They talk about a 500-foot residential-style well and compare it to a standard house.
But then you look at the reality on the ground. We have this drone footage from May 11th, 2026, and it shows rapid land clearing and heavy industrial equipment already in place.
Yeah, that does not look like a residential project at all.
Not even close. And that low-impact label they use, it's a very tactical choice. They highlight their closed-loop cooling system, claiming it only sips a few hundred gallons of water a month.
Which sounds great, right? Like they're being good neighbors to the local aquifer.
Yeah.
But to keep those high-performance computers from melting down without using much water, you need a massive amount of airflow.
Right, so those residential-style wells are supplemented by these giant power-hungry fans.
So it's a total trade-off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, they save water, but they absolutely hammer the local power grid.
Yeah, and that explains why residents are seeing industrial-grade power lines being run to a building that's really only 14,000 square feet.
Which brings me back to my favorite analogy. It's like being told your neighbor is just building a little garden shed, but then you watch them hook it up to a literal power substation.
Exactly. And if it really is so low impact, you have to ask why the local utilities had to sign non-disclosure agreements.
Wait, really? The utilities signed NDAs?
Yes, there is essentially a legal gag order on the people managing the water and electricity for the area.
That is just wild. Why would utility boards agree to that?
Usually it's out of fear. They're afraid of losing the so-called economic development to the next county over. They're told it's just about protecting trade secrets.
But in reality, it just creates this massive information vacuum.
Right. And in that vacuum, residents have no way of knowing if their utility rates are going to spike to pay for all these infrastructure upgrades Lumon needs.
Or if the water table will even hold up when Phase 2 inevitably begins.
Yeah, Phase 2 is the big shadow hanging over all of this.
Because residents are already seeing surveyors on the extra acreage around the site.
Yeah.
Right? People are worried this 14,000 square foot building is just the appetizer for a much hungrier AI complex.
And AI chips, the GPUs, they are completely different from a standard office server. I mean, they generate intense concentrated heat.
Yeah, they never sleep. And they need infrastructure that a rural county's grid just was not designed to handle.
Which is why this project is such a big deal. It sets a massive precedent. It signals to other tech giants that if you find a county with an open-door policy, meaning no zoning,
Wow.
you can break ground before anyone even knows who you are.
Right, by the time the public realizes what's happening and forms a citizen action group, the permits are already issued. The land is bought.
Yeah, the legal win already belongs to the company. It's following the letter of the law, but completely bypassing the spirit of community trust.
It really is that classic move fast and break things tech culture, clashing directly with rural folks who rely on that land and water.
Absolutely.
So, I guess the final thought to leave everyone with is this. If the legal framework of a county effectively functions as an open-door policy, at what point does a community's right to know outweigh a private company's right to move fast and break ground?
That's a really great question.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this exploration into the source material. Catch you next time.